Welcome to the Super Gold 60 Key Chart Signals and Analysis. This is Morris. Well, let's begin by looking at the S&P 500. And as you can see on the chart, we've had a series of lower highs and lower lows. Now that took place, lower lows I want to specifically focus on here, and as well as lower highs. So at this particular point, there is a little bit of an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which could actually argue for a test to the double top. But what I'm looking at here is the series of lower highs and lower lows. So if the market makes a move through this area, then it targets all the way down here. That is the one thing we are watching closely. We're not out of the woods on the stock market. I am looking for further downside. You'll notice many of the markets were very strong in Wednesday's trade, and the S&P could only muster just under a third of a percentage point. Well, what was leading the markets in Wednesday's trade? We'll take a look at GDXJ. This has been pretty much what we've been calling for here. The overall trend has been lower, and we talked about that, and that's phase number one. Phase number two of any market is to see a market transition from a downtrend to a neutral bottoming trend. That's phase number two. And then a breakout through the area of that neckline would set up a move higher, and that would be number three, phase number three of a market. So these are what we're generally seeing play out. The overall action in Wednesday's trade, very substantial. We can look for a move right up to that neckline, and then I do expect the right shoulder. So you see a move to 44, and then potentially back down to 40. So many people now are on the wrong side of this market, and I will say we are not. We had been sellers as we saw the greed move in, and the gap confirmed that right here as the market went lower. And now we have just patiently waited to get long. We've started the process. We can certainly get longer. The market's going to be quite interesting. If we do get this little bit of a fake right here, or this just touching the neckline, and then come down here and build out and fill out this right shoulder with any kind of confirmation out of this area, that would set phase three, moving this market right back up to 56. As we look at the silver stocks, very similar situation. Are we beginning to see chart outperformance? Well, what would I mean by that? Well, take a look at the bottom that just, if we plunge, this had been the low right here. Market gaps, and then it plunges right through. But very quickly, it's reversed. And it's came through the area of the previous lows. And typically that offers more resistance. If you get one more day of resiliency and through the top of this trade, I would draw the neckline right here, and then that would set up that very similar formation that we're talking about, which would be shoulder, shoulder, and then the head. That sets this market up also to go right back up to the area of those highs of last summer. An individual issue I wanted to highlight tonight, breaking this overhead resistance, is Agnico Eagle. Now Agnico Eagle is setting at 50, say right around 55. A pullback to this neckline is possible unless this market just wants to race. It could certainly do that. We likely hit a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of resistance for that shouldering action at between 59 and 61. But the overall pattern that I'm seeing on this particular chart is a move that takes us back to 74, 75. If you can get in that stock at around 55, that is a great entry and a nice capital gain potential. That's all for now. This is Morris saying thank you.